Alright, welcome to my video. My name is Eckogen. We're going to discuss the purple soul badges for KFMs, the Courage, and the Alluvion soul badge. We'll start off with the Alluvion soul badge. This badge is quite simple to use as it resets the cooldown of our tremor, our V, whenever we use solo or party blue buff. Assuming that your tremor is on the enhanced skill, it will boost critical damage for your party by 20% for 10 seconds, and your cycle kick deals 20% additional damage for 10 seconds. The Alluvion soul badge is just not a good pick as you're not able to blue buff often enough to make it worthwhile. The global cooldown for blue buff is 45 seconds, and even if you had a warlock, soul burn to reset your blue buff, you're still locked behind that 45-second global cooldown. So this badge is just simply not worth spending your courage tokens on. Speaking of courage, we're going to talk about the courage soul badge now. It reduces the cooldown of your blue buff by 3 seconds every time you use Roaring Tiger, which is your wind build, or 4 seconds every time you use Leading Palm, your fire build. So I've done some calculations on the wind build, and these calculations will pretty much reflect the fire build as well. So here's what we know. We know that the cooldown on blue buff is 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the global cooldown is 45 seconds. So excluding any external factors, if you're on wind build and you don't have the full piece of BT soul shields and the Rift Walk weapon, within that 1 minute and 30 second cooldown of blue buff, you should be able to pull off 6 Roaring Tigers. Since each Roaring Tiger takes off 3 seconds, you're shaving off a total of 18 seconds off the cooldown of your blue buff. So you're making like a small dent in the cooldown of your blue buff. It's not really doing a hell of a lot. Now let's just take this to the extreme. Let's assume that you do have your full BT soul shields. So if you do, that brings down the cooldown of your blue buff to 1 minute and 3 seconds. And let's also assume that you have your Rift Walk weapon. So Rift Walk has a 60% cooldown reduction for your X. So with that, it brings Roaring Tiger, the cooldown, the original cooldown, from 12 seconds to 4.8 seconds. So with all this factored in, you should be able to pull off 8 Roaring Tigers, and so that will reduce a total of 24 seconds off your blue buff cooldown. So it's helping quite a bit there. So with that all together, this pretty much makes your blue buff ready as soon as your global cooldown expires. So to sum it up, you pretty much need both your Rift Walk weapon and your full set of BT soul shields to be able to blue buff right away as soon as your global cooldown is up. Now essentially, KFMs got cucked by these purple soul shields. The Courage badge is only worth it if you have Rift Walk and a full set of BT soul shields. But even then, if you're able to do BT, why would you even follow the weapon path of Rift Walk? Because Raven is a much better weapon, especially for KFMs. And the Alluvion soul badge, that's not even worth giving any consideration for, so just forget about that badge entirely. The Magnum and the Blue Moon soul badge, these badges are still your top picks for KFM. So thank you for watching. I hope that helped.